With schools scheduled to reopen on Monday, the Ministry of Education is ramping up efforts to ensure that all COVID 19 preventative measures are in place to keep the nation's children safe. The Department of Public Information visited two city schools, Richard Ishmael Secondary and Queen's College, for a first hand look at how the preventative measures have been implemented. The ministry has installed hand washing stations near the entrance in both schools' compounds, and teachers and other staff were seen posting reminders of the guidelines at key locations. Several of them told DPI that their schools have adopted strict policies to safeguard students. Teachers and auxiliary staff are expected to remain vigilant, particularly during break periods.
We have to be careful and limit the numbers so that we do not have any overcrowding and it becomes unmanageable. So we're going to be very strict on that.
Well, students, I believe, will enjoy the face-to-face interaction with their teachers and their colleagues. However, we intend to ensure that they maintain all the COVID-19 protocols as prescribed by the Ministry of Health.
Meantime, Chief Education Officer Dr. Marcel Hudson is confident that the systems put in place will ensure students are safe.
As a ministry, we have taken every precautionary measure to ensure the safety of our children, because we recognize that one mistake we could find ourselves being set back. And so we have done a number of things to ensure that our children are safe in terms of the delivery of education.
The Chief Education Officer expressed satisfaction with the work done by teachers and staff at the secondary schools to prepare for Monday's reopening.
It was remarkable. It was very nice, heartwarming to see our teachers. They were in place. They were setting the furniture. They were making sure that they observed the social distancing. And they made sure also they were writing up their registers. They prepared their timetables. And it was nice to see our teachers are out.
On October 31, Minister of Education Honorable Priya Manikchan announced that schools will reopen for classroom instruction for Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, and Technical Vocational Education and Training institutions.
Schools shall reopen for face-to-face engagement for the cohort of students in grades 10, 11, and 12. That is formerly known as 4th, 5th, and 6th forms, and for all practical instruction centers and technical vocational educational centers from the 9th day of November 2020.
Going back to the classroom, teachers will be allowed to use varying methods of teaching based on each school's unique situation. In addition to this, the Ministry of Education will be providing guidance to schools.
You may recall that we had said in those early announcements that once we begin face-to-face schooling, we may have to adjust our school term, and we may have an extended school week, and we may have to do rotations of students and teachers. This holds true. Each school and institution will have the freedom to set its own timetable to get teaching done effectively, and may do what is necessary to effectively deliver the education needed once they comply with the gazetted COVID-19 order. The Central Ministry will provide direct guidance on the completion of SVA and syllabi once requested, or if its supervisory arms observe the need. Textbooks, past papers, digital support, and other materials will be provided so that each student has access to necessary resources. Content will begin from where it was left off for each student. This may necessitate reteaching what was already taught during these months of closure for those students who did not access said teaching during said school closure. A wellness diagnostic will be administered to our students and support offered where necessary. Our school's welfare department is fully mobilized to address needs as they arrive, and we intend to make sure we lose not one single child to this school closure.
Support will also be provided for teachers with younger children who are called out.
Accommodation can be made by schools to cater for teachers who have younger children at home who, who will not be returning out back to school just yet. We know this is a real concern and believe that schools can create space for those younger children and provide the supervision.
Measures are also in place to ensure that students housed at dorms have adequate facilities. Since then, there have been numerous multi stakeholder engagements with the Ministry of Health, regional education officials, the Caribbean Examination Council, the Guyana Teachers Union, parents, students, and others. Meetings were also held with the Guyana United Minibus Union, Guyana Police Force, and Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce Consumer Affairs Department to develop a robust system to ensure the safe transport of students to and from school. There will be police presence at transportation routes to prevent students gathering at bus parks, touting, and to ensure buses transporting students follow all protocols. While 50% of the school buses in the system were found to be inoperable, Minister Manik Chan committed to providing transportation for students based on the ministry's capacity. Several transportation operators have committed to ensuring students are safely transported to and from school.
We are aware that children are different, they think different from adults, they operate different from adults, and the drivers and the conductors would have to, be very much more appreciative of their behavior. We in the 32 zone has gotten a system where we have a monitor at the head of the park. Whilst the buses are being loaded, the monitor is responsible for ensuring that the commuters are sanitized before entering the buses.
We can only carry 21 passengers, 3 in every seat. We cannot go above that. And by maintaining the 21, that is how we can be able to maintain the social distancing.
Despite a handful of negative comments on social media, the move to have children in grades 11 to 13 return to school has been favorably received.
I believe that is a good idea. Or one thing I just think about, if they have to put them 6 feet apart or 3 feet apart, I don't know. But they have to do something about it because the children can't be home.
I personally don't have a problem with school opening for 4 to 6 formers. My take on it was that they're young adults and they can be more responsible with COVID-19. And from my observation of children being at home in the community, they're not studying, they're not paying attention to what's best for them because they're young people and they need to be more focused in having an education.
I'm happy concerning school because I have a kid too. She's 14 and I'm happy if she could go. We just got to take precaution.
Well, I believe the reopening of school is good because you can't keep the children's mind idle. You have to keep them academically informed because in this crisis here, if children is left on their own, they do all kinds of different things.
I think it's a great idea, but because the children don't learn as much as they learn face to face.
On Monday, care packages for teachers, students, and other staff will be distributed. These contain sanitizers, masks, and vitamins.